All right, let's get to Pauline Hanson, Philip Thompson right now. Philip Thompson's the Assistant Shadow Defence Minister in the Dutton LNP, and of course Pauline Hanson is one and only Leader of One Nation in the Senate. So let's start with you, Phil. The Prime Minister didn't want to talk yesterday about it. Instead, quick, fill me with ice cream. Today he had to answer a question but didn't really. They are not providing any genuine justification as to why these families have to come back.
Well, I've got mates in the security and intelligence world who are calling me saying that they're very concerned about this. I've got friends throughout the country who have served this nation very proudly and honourably, who don't understand why this decision's been made because the Prime Minister has failed to address the country. We've got people that went over willingly to support, in some cases, fight with a terrorist organisation. The people that cut people's heads off, the people that burn people alive. And now they want to come back to Australia because people have been killed or in jail. We don't know where they'll be, how long they'll be there for. Is there extra resources? Is there an extra cost put on this? Are people going to be monitored their whole lives? These are all things that the Prime Minister needs to answer to.
Again, Pauline, can we just replay a little bit of the elbow thing? Because the question was very clear. Yesterday wouldn't answer anything. Go film me in Norton Street and Leichhardt. Let's pretend that we're in the middle of an election campaign again. But again, one more time, this is the totality of the Prime Minister after we have brought these people back into the country. Let's have a look.
In terms of the wives of Islamic State fighters who've been repatriated, how much will it cost to monitor the women now that they've come to Australia and the more that are coming? And what additional costs will taxpayers incur for bringing them back, such as counselling and things like that?
Look, these are Australian citizens who are entitled to be in Australia. And I note some of the commentary from the opposition on these issues. Well, the opposition, when it was the government, brought some children home from these areas as well. That's the fact of the matter. And, we will take always, we will consider one and only priority is to keep Australians safe. We're following national security advice on all of those matters and will continue to do so. Thanks very much. Thank you.
Pauline, it tells us everything. The first second there's a bit of trouble, one answer, not a real answer, then bugger off.
Exactly right, Paul. And he couldn't answer it because he's terribly embarrassed by it. And if you did mention any figures to the Australian public, more people would be up in arms about it. I read a figure, look, I don't know where I read it, maybe in a newspaper article, and they estimated about $100,000 for monitoring and watching them. And of course, they're going to be on a welfare payment. If you have a look at them, they're covered from head to toe, even the hands are covered. Then they're unemployable. And then all the kids that they have, so that's more extra cost. And then security reasons, are they going to go into normal schools? I doubt it. They'll probably have to put the kids into, private teaching schools. So, it's going to be enormous cost to the taxpayers. And to use the argument, well, we have a responsibility, they're Australian citizens, well, that's a lot of hogwash and it doesn't wash with me. Because the fact is that they were told, do not leave Australia, do not go over there. They're in camps over there. That's their choice. That's where they ended up. And I am so angry about this, Paul, because we have faced terrorist attacks in Australia. I went over to Afghanistan there and I saw the way of life, what it's over there. The country was getting itself back into a way of some sort of democracy and being able to vote, and the people were lined up to actually vote in the election, and yet they still had the martyrs, they still bombed them. And these women and these children, they're bred to be martyrs, to actually wear bombs, to destroy people of different way of thinking to what they are, the Western society. So the government cannot guarantee the people of this nation that they will be kept safe. I don't believe them. We can't even, control the ones that are here, keeping an eye on them all the time. So I don't want them back here. It is not our responsibility. They made the choice. As far as I'm concerned, they can stay over there.
Yeah, I mean, Philip, again, you talked about the people that have reached out to you. I mean, how can there not be a level of insult here that the people who were more than happy to go and live in a caliphate that was being created by shooting back at people like yourself who'd served the country, how is this not an insult to those people? Yet every politician involved in the decision, they'll all go and stand there on Remembrance Day. They'll pat the backs on Anzac Day.
Yeah, it is an insult, mate, and it adds salt to the wound that we're being kept in the dark, that we're not being discussed on what's occurring, and to have former defence members that are now in the intelligence world and in the security world reaching out to me going, is there anything you can do to put a pause on this because we're not comfortable in the direction it's going, is a concern to me and should be a concern to every Australian. We know that the training camps that took place, we know the indoctrination of what happened with some of the young people that were there, where they were taught to be head dolls. And I've seen the videos where young children were holding the hair of adult males when they were getting their heads cut off. This is concerning. This is real life. I know it sounds gruesome and gory, but
it's uncomfortable, but it's real, mate.
Because you have to just talk about it, because right now I've got a Prime Minister on the run. He should be addressing the nation on what's going to occur here, because what happens if they end up in a street next to you or the young family down the road or people that don't know, and what's the security element? Are they being monitored the whole time for the rest of their lives? How long?
Yeah, correct. Well, of course, none of these people are most likely to end up in places that are occupied by the Teals. None of these people are likely to be going to places like Marrickville. Imagine what it would go down, like a lead balloon, if that was being discussed as an idea at that Italian festival. And what is it with weak lefty leaders and ice cream? You got Joe Biden doing press conferences and this idiot saying, I won't answer questions, go off and film me being nice and cute and puppies and all this garbage. Welcome to the real world, pal, and people are hurting right now.